Hey everyone, and welcome back to House of Mystery. Today we're going to take another look at the Murder She Baked slash Hannah Swenson movie series on Hallmark. I have one video that goes into the series itself and tells you about the characters in the different movies, but this video is actually going to rank, in my opinion, all the Murder She Baked slash Hannah Swenson mystery movies. Now, I don't know for what reason they actually switched the name from Murder She Baked to Hannah Swenson Mysteries, but that came at the end of the fifth movie. So you have five movies under the Murder She Baked name and four movies so far under the Hannah Swenson movies. Now, from what I have found, it looks like perhaps there is still going to be a new movie made, so we can look for a number 10, although Hallmark has not released a date yet. As little as 3 hours ago, it says there is another mystery in the works called A Sprinkle of Deceit, a Hannah Swenson mystery, and we will still have Hannah and the new character, Victor Webster, who plays Chad in that movie. So, as far as we know, this series has not been canceled, and there is hopefully an upcoming movie for us to watch. Now, regardless of the title, whether it's Murder She Baked or Hannah Swenson, all of these are still based on the books by Joanne Fluke. Most of the movies have been given a different name, but are based on a book, and I will tell you which book they are based on as we go through. Now, again, this is just my personal opinion. I would love to hear what you think. So, after you hear the ranking, tell me if you agree or disagree, or if you have a favorite or least favorite. And I'm hoping that the new one, if it does come out, hopefully it will come out soon, and it will be a great one, and they can continue the series from there. Also, the rankings I have, the ones that are toward the top of my list, like 1 through 4, could probably be interchanged a lot on any given day. Same for my least favorite. They're kind of all very close, but the ones that I do like quite a bit more than the ones that I don't care for as much. So let's dive right into it with number 9. So my number 9 is A Carrot Cake Murder, a Hanson Swenson mystery. This was released in 2023 and is loosely based on the Carrot Cake Murder book. Now, I also read the book, and while it's described as being loosely based on it, I would definitely say that is for sure what it is. I found quite a few differences in the movie and the book. And this is my least favorite. And again, it is very interchangeable with my number 8, because this is when Mike and Hannah's relationship really kind of takes a turn for the worst, and where I see the series, in my opinion, kind of start to go downhill. Maybe it's because I don't like character changes. I don't like a lot of romantic elements added into murder mysteries a lot of the times. But I was, growing fond of the Mike character and getting familiar with that. And this is when we start to go in a different direction with that. So, and the mystery itself is still, the plot, is still pretty okay. It's just more that this is where I see a turn in the series, and so I didn't care for it quite as much. And so then, that being said, my number 8 is actually A Zest for Death, which is also a Hannah Swenson mystery that was released in 2023, and it is based on the lemon meringue pie murder. This came right after the carrot cake murder. Now, this actually has a new sister in it. Well, not a new sister, but new to the show. You have Michelle, her younger sister, who replaces the other sister, Andrea. I hope that she can make a return to the show. I would love to have all of them in this. It makes sense to have her younger sister, Michelle, in the movies because she does play a very prominent role in the books, and that is why Allison Sweeney really wanted to add her to the mix. So I understand it, and it's a good character to have. She plays off Dolores, the mom, really well. I'm kind of the back and forth, but I also really liked the Andrea character, sister, as well. So I hated to see that get replaced, but hopefully she can make an appearance in the future. They did kind of leave that open, but they are looking for her sister Michelle to have a house. And then her mom finds a body in the upstairs bedroom when they're looking for a house. And so the plot's pretty good, but again, you have the whole Hannah and Mike thing, and they're seeing each other after their big fallout, and with an old flame of Hannah's also in the picture now. Are they going to reconcile? What's going to happen? And so again, it was fine, but it wasn't really the Murder She Baked that I loved from the beginning. And again, on any given day, that could really be my number 9 movie. Coming in at my number 7 is One Bad Apple. Now, this is the latest installment of the Hannah Swensen mysteries. So, this is the most recent release that Hallmark has given us. We are introduced to a new character. The prosecutor is kind of the one that we see taking over that leading man role. And so, we get to see the interaction between him and Hannah for the first time. And really, I think as much as I hated to see Mike's character leave, and we're assuming that that character is not going to be reinstated. Cameron Matheson has actually signed a multi-picture deal with Great American Family, so they're not really leaving any room for that character to return. I think that the segue here is as good as it could have been, and so I think that as much as I may not like it, and I do see the series kind of faltering a little bit, I'm hoping it can get back on its feet with this, and we can take off from here because I think it has the strongest starting point that it could have when we're now going in a totally different direction. The plot was pretty good. Hannah's teaching at a local community college, and then her equipment gets tampered with, and so there's still a pretty good plot element there. And like I said, I'm really hoping that we can get back to what it was in the beginning for this series and kind of jumpstart from where we are. And it just may take a couple of movies to get us into that and used to the character changes and all of that. But I have really high hopes, given that I did like this movie better than I liked A Zest for Death and Carrot Cake Murder. So for the rest of my list from number 6 to number 1, really what separates these are just personal preference of the plot, mostly which plot I like the best. I think they're all pretty good quality. And so it's just when I think of, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch one of these movies, which ones am I most likely to rewatch? Which one am I in the mood for the most? Or I think is really never going to get old for me. And that's what separates these movies. So coming in at number 6, I have the 2017 released Murder, She Baked, Just Desserts. This is based on the Strawberry Shortcake Murder, which follows Hannah as she plans for the Eden Lake Bake Off. She has this idea for a show, and it's going to be hosted by her at the local high school. And this time, at least, she does not actually find the dead victim. It is Norman, the one who is kind of in the love triangle with her and Mike at this point in the series, who finds the school's basketball coach. And this is a pretty good one. I just don't care for the plot as much. I couldn't really tell you why, but it's not one that I find myself wanting to rewatch. I always feel really bad for Norman. I think this is the movie where Mike and Hannah become pretty exclusive, and Norman has been such a good friend to Hannah. I always feel bad for him. This is one reason I really don't like romantic elements in these, because I don't like having any of those feelings. I just want to have a good, murder mystery plot. And the plot is okay. It's just not my favorite. Coming in at number 5, we have the only Hannah Swensen that beat out any of the Murder, She Baked movies, the Hannah Swensen Sweet Revenge. This was the first one as it transitioned from Murder, She Baked to Hannah Swensen. And this one was pretty good. You had kind of solidified that Mike and Hannah are now engaged. There is a murder at a local gym, and Hannah, of course, finds the body, and they're trying to figure out who the culprit is. And so the plot's pretty good. It, again, not as high quality as some of the beginning Murder, She Baked movies, but when it made that transition, it did an okay job. And as far as the plot, I probably like it a little bit better than the Just Desserts plot. And this one was released in 2021 and is based on the book Cream Puff Murder. Now, jumping into my top 4, these are the 4 that on any given day, I could watch any of these, and it's probably that they are interchangeable based on what mood I'm in. But these 4 I really like a lot more than the rest of my list. So coming in at number 4 is the first Murder, She Baked movie that we ever had, which was back in 2015, A Chocolate Chip Cookie Mystery. This is also based on the book of the same title. So we're introduced to the characters for the first time. I think they do a really good job of setting up the personalities and just developing out all of the characters. I think they do a good job there. We see some emotion from Hannah as it is her friend who gets murdered in this. And so I really like the plot of it. And I think that just having it be the first one They probably had a few kinks to work out here and there, but really for a pilot movie, it did a great job setting up the characters, setting up the setting, giving us insight into what really to expect from the rest of the series. And so it had a lot riding, I think, on its shoulders. And so I really appreciate this movie. Coming in at number three, and I had a really hard time between this one and number four, but I do like the fact that it's set at Christmas, and that is The Murder She Baked, a Plum Pudding Mystery from 2015. And it is based on the book of the same title. So again, it's set at Christmas time, which is a nice change. It's the only one that is set at Christmas time out of the nine. And there is a killer who has murdered the owner or the co-owner of the Crazy Elf Tree Lot. There's lots of people who could have potentially wanted him murdered, and so we have to eliminate suspects, and there's quite a few people to pick from as a suspect in this one. And so it was a nice element of surprise to have to try to figure out and go along with that plot. And again, just the setting was really nice that it was set at Christmas time. And so this is one that I think they did a good job on. Coming in at number two is the 2016 release Murder She Baked, A Deadly Recipe. This is based on the book titled Fudge Cupcake Murder. Now, as far as plot goes, honestly, this is probably my favorite one. The town sheriff has been murdered, and fingers point to Hannah's brother-in-law, Bill, a deputy who was running against him for the sheriff position. And so, of course, Hannah finds the body, and I just really like the plot of this one. I don't know why, but I think they have a great mix of characters because you do see her sister and the sister's husband Bill in this one a lot. You see other people from the police station. So I just really liked how all the characters were in action, and I had to keep guessing as to who the killer was. So coming in at number one, I have the 2016 released Murder She Baked, A Peach Cobbler Mystery. This is based on the seventh book in the Joanne Fluke series, also named A Peach Cobbler Murder. Now, I love the plot of this one, but it is probably equal in plot to my number two, and the only thing that separates it is that this was actually the first movie I ever watched in the series. So it got me hooked on the Murder She Baked movies, and so it has a very special place in my heart, and I can really put it on anytime. It has a lot of rewatchability for me. There is a local new store, new bakery that has opened right across the street from Hannah called Magnolia Blossom. And of course, one night the owner is murdered and Hannah finds the body, and Hannah even becomes a suspect herself because they are rival bakeries in the business. And so she is also trying to clear not only finding the murder, but clear her name in this as well. And again, it got me hooked on this series, so I have to give it a few extra points for that. But I do also just really love the plot and the setting and everything that this movie does as well. It has, like I said, a whole lot of rewatchability for me. So I would love to know what your ranking is. This is just my opinion. I have found other opinions online that do kind of tend to agree with me, at least in the fact that once they switched over to the Hannah Swinsons, they weren't quite as strong. People have different reasons for that, I'm sure, but I'm hoping that with the next installment, it will get back on its feet and we can still see more movies to come, because this is a series that I would really love to stick with, and I can't wait to see what happens next. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. I really appreciate the views, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Let me know if there is something in particular that you would love me to cover, and I would love to do that. As always, thank you, have a great day, and stay mysterious.